Good afternoon. I'm Sarah Paul, and you are listening to Psychic Ideas Radio, a new internet radio program with discussion on psychic theory, research, and development. Welcome. Hello. Today is November 12th, 2016, noon CST, USA. I'm Sarah Paul, and you're listening to Psychic Ideas Radio. Today we're going to discuss Episode 5, Part 2 of the belief system of the Galaxy Teacher, the channeled Galaxy Teacher voice, which was channeled by myself for 13 years. We've been reading from the book And Human Suffering Through Psychic Development, the Galaxy Teacher Belief System by myself. That was self-published. It's a 50-page book, very small, very inexpensive. It is on in paperback and available at online bookstores, for a very small amount of money. Okay. Today we're going to talk about focus and perception and the shift of perception. I'm going to start reading from Chapter 4, and then I'll have a few words to say about the presidential election and what you can do and what we can do as people who engage in psychic activity to influence the future. Okay. Chapter 4, End Human Suffering Through Psychic Development, Chapter Focus and Perception. The channeled voice, Seth, taught us that we create our own experience. Most people within the reach of the media have accepted that idea by now. That is excellent. Now we must figure out specifically how we create our experience so we can create it deliberately. We need language to discuss this idea. The Galaxy Teacher provides that language. Terms that carry the power to alter man's thinking through their meaning are called by the Galaxy Teacher conceptual language. Some of this power is simply cognitive influence. Some of it is psychic influence, entering your consciousness in a pre-recognized state. You are not learning it. You are remembering it, and when you comprehend it, you do not become separate from the idea to understand it. And when we're talking about this power here, we're talking about the power of certain words, certain phrases that we call conceptual language, and those phrases have they have, if you want to call it, a psychic energy. They have an ability to actually cause change in your mind when you say those words. When you think about their meaning, they actually change you. They assist you to psychically develop, grow, so that you can understand what they mean, because psychic ideas are experiential. Psychic activity is experiential. You have to actually do it. It is something that you mentally actually do. You cannot just stand back from an idea about psychic activity and truly understand it. You have to actually take part in it. Conceptual language are the phrases and the words that we use in talking about psychic activity that actually have the power to do that in you, to cause real change. This is a Galaxy Teacher idea, conceptual language. I'm continuing to read now. You become the idea. This is not only possible, it is necessary. It is not only real phenomena, it is natural, common, and easy for the human being. He does it continuously. In linear terms, the entire universe exists in consciousness, in idea state, before it becomes matter, when translated through human perception. Perception creates reality. It is powerful. The human being is a God creating reality in the most literal sense. The human being is a God creating reality in the most literal sense. Man will understand this intimately as it becomes a core assumption in human culture. In other words, as we become aware of it. Man is creating experience through focus and perception by a process of remembering and forgetting. Actually, he is limiting his experience through focus and perception. The individual self, which we will also call the ego, limits man's awareness by making him forget or not see that which does not support the definition of the self, the linear time frame definition of the self. We could say that each person has his own self-image, and that his focus and perception, and therefore his experience, are created by or limited to that self-image. To change one's core assumptions about reality is the way to allow change in one's experience. Now, if you have studied Seth, you know that core assumptions meaning your belief system about reality itself, your core assumptions about the nature of the universe itself. That is a Seth phrase, that is a Seth idea, and the Galaxy teacher would label that phrase as conceptual language. It teaches you something. It changes your perception of the world when you say it, when you perceive what it means. It goes deeper than just cognitive understanding. It goes deeper than that. How do you change your ideas about reality? And how do you stimulate awareness of multiple consciousness within you? How do you start understanding, that is, remembering how you create reality? By reading alternative reality ideas, and by thinking and talking about them, and by writing down your dreams regularly and rereading them. Writing down your dreams is the most efficient, easy, and powerful tool to stimulate psychic intelligence. When you write your dreams every day, you will see your daily problems solve themselves, and you will begin to have psychic experience. This happens because when you remember your dreams, you integrate them into your identity in wake time. In doing this, you are creating awareness of your multiple identity. Soon after that, you will also begin remembering your individual self in the dream state, which is called lucid dreaming. From this, we can surmise that psychic experience is allowed when the individual self and the multiple self become aware of each other. And when we say the individual self, we mean the I voice, your I voice, and the multiple self, the we voice, we. We, multiple consciousness, okay, as one thing. You can be aware of multiple consciousness when you pray. If you talk to God and God talks to you, you are aware of that multiple consciousness. God certainly has the nature of multiple consciousness. Simply writing down your dreams as soon as you awake every day will cause automatic positive changes in your daily experience. You do not have to deliberately program these changes, although you can do so through lucid dreaming. You can program your own changes, your own psychic path, your own psychic development through lucid dreaming. When you are lucid dreaming, you have like a hypnotic power over your own subconscious. You have hypnotic power over your own mind. However, your own consciousness is wiser than you about what changes are needed. Try it and see if you are not pleased with the result. It is an easy way to instigate psychic experience in yourself, get in control of your life, and help change the world. Ideas matter because experience begins in idea and turns into physical reality through focus and perception. Pay attention to your ideas. Form them. Pay attention to your thoughts. Listen to them. Pay attention to your dreams. Remember them, and then participate in them. That is the end of chapter 4. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about what has happened in our country this week. Donald Trump has been elected president. He's not president yet, but he is president-elect. And as we know, many people, including probably most of you listening to me right now, are very unhappy about that. We're not just unhappy. We're frightened. We're terrified. We're appalled. And we are really at a loss as what to do about it. And 12 major cities have already had peaceful demonstrations. 3 of them have turned violent. It won't get any better if he becomes president. It will get much worse. In schools, already, little children are being harassed. Latino children and black children are being harassed by white children who are carrying Trump signs and yelling, "Build the wall," and other insulting, threatening things toward those minority children. This is very un-American. It's against everything we've been working for the past 50 years, and it's terrifying. If that is happening today, what is going to happen tomorrow? Okay, what can you do about it? What can I do about it? I spent the last several days praying very hard, thinking very hard, meditating very hard, trying to think, what can I do about it? If you engage in psychic work or psychic activity, if you meditate, if you pray, if you conduct psychic experiments, okay, if you channel, if you do divination, if you do any of those things, you know how to bring yourself to the level of multiple consciousness. You know how to and I'll give an example. The most direct way I know how to do this is through meditation. Put yourself in a state of meditation and then slowly lower, first still the outside voice, still the voice of the world. Try to get silent so you have no thought. Your eyes are closed, you have no thought, you are relaxed. Okay, and you have your eyes closed and you begin to see a sort of a red-black porous field, okay? And then you start lowering yourself lower and lower and lower by octave, by sound. Lower yourself by octaves, lower, and then stabilize into that porous field. And then go another octave lower. You can do that by focusing on your throat, on your voice, and mentally hear the sound of your voice going lower. The tone of your thought. That's the tone of your thought going lower. It's slowing down. Slow down. Go lower another octave and stabilize there and see the porous field. Do it again. 1 octave lower, stabilize, and see the porous field. I can usually go to 3 or 4 octaves. By the time I go to octave 4, I am there. I am one with multiple consciousness. And I have experimented with this and found it many, many times. At that level, at say octave 4 for me, I can give myself a suggestion. I can put a suggestion into, not into myself, but into the porous field. That porous field is the psychic consciousness. It is multiple consciousness. And I can put a suggestion there of something that I want to happen or don't want to happen. And then I'm at peace when I do that. I'm very much at peace. And then I come up slowly through the octaves out of the meditation, and it's finished. Every time I have done that, within 24 hours, a major result has occurred from the thing that I suggested to my subconscious. I mean, I have had major results every single time. And there, it's not like I said, okay, I want exactly this to happen and this to happen and this to happen. I just said, as if I were praying, please do something about this situation, or maybe there's a certain person at a personal level that I deeply wanted to see. Maybe there was something that I deeply wanted to happen that was personal. In my background with this activity, this is a psychic activity, I always asked for personal things. They were always personal things. But today, you and I are very concerned about something that is more than personal. It is personal to us, and it is national, and it is international. As the United States goes, so goes the world. Donald Trump shows every signs of being a dictator. He talks like a dictator. He threatens like a dictator. He thinks like a dictator in that when he makes promises, they're very, very vague, and he has no specific plans for how his government is going to work to solve certain problems or address certain problems. He talks like a man who simply wants power in his own hands. It was a very personal election for him, and for him it was all about him and Hillary. It was very personal. This man he is not a politician. He is not a person who is capable or who intends to take care of the needs of a nation of people. He is very ego-centered, okay? And he's very dangerous. Now, it is my belief that by engaging in prayer, in meditation, in psychic activities that are in themselves benign, very benign, we can influence tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next 2 months and the next 4 years. I have already done some very deep prayer of my own, and I have received confirmation and from what I call the voice of God. And the God that I pray to is the same God that all people pray to, the benevolent, omniscient, all-powerful, all-seeing, all-caring God that we all believe in, and who I believe is the same God for every major religion of the world. Okay? We are one world. We are one people. Everybody in the whole world is afraid of Donald Trump. Okay? Everybody with any common sense is afraid of him. Okay? Let's do this. If you are a person with psychic ability, or with psychic, who engages in psychic activity, I encourage you to do what I have just described. I encourage you to meditate, pray, go in the woods and commune with nature. Do whatever you personally do to connect with that psychic voice, with that multiple consciousness, with the consciousness of God, whatever you choose to call it. Get there, go there, and pray for it. And if you can meditate, and you are that kind of person who meditates, then try doing that exercise I just described, and put a suggestion there that something is done about this situation, that something will prevent all the harm coming from what we fear will come. I have done so in a deep state of prayer with the God of my understanding, and I hear the voice of God in prayer, like many people do, and I have received confirmation and comfort. And I believe and I feel that I know that everything is going to be all right. I don't know specifically how it will be all right, but I don't know the specific details. But I know this. Every time I have put a situation that frightened me into the hands of the God of my understanding and truly, truly let go of it and truly turned it over, that God brought something about that was more wonderful than anything I could have asked for or imagined. And that's what I believe is exactly what's going to happen. Something wonderful will come about. Please take part in this. Please join me in this. Okay. Now let's read 5, the shift of perception. The shift of perception is one of those conceptual terms, one of those is conceptual language, and it talks about a profound, personal, psychic experience, spiritual experience that it is possible for the human being to have, in which he or she becomes aware in wake time, or perhaps in sleep. It happened to me in wake time. You'll become aware of the we voice, you'll become aware of the I voice at the very same time, and you will take on and be aware that you have all the qualities of God, of the multiple consciousness. You will know everything. You will be telepathic. You will hear other people's thoughts. And I had that experience on February 5th, 1995, and it was very much like being reborn. I will never forget it. And it told me what the nature of man is and what we're capable of. Okay, Chapter 5, the shift of perception. The shift of perception is an expanded awareness experience in which one becomes actively aware of multiple consciousness. At that moment, one is doing multiple consciousness. That is, one is thinking in 3 voices at once and is aware of it. What are those 3 voices? The I voice, the we voice, and the I and the we voice together. When you meld with the structure of reality, okay, and this is the structure of reality. Multiple consciousness is the structure of reality. When you meld with the structure of reality, becoming part of structure, and thus an entity with multiple identity, you do not lose your individuality as many people fear they will. You take on more than one identity, keeping your I identity and adding awareness of multiple identity at the same time. Thus, you end up with a 3-fold identity. And in that 3-fold identity, I can tell you personally that you will have psychic abilities that other people talk about and you have only dreamed of. Okay. Now, for myself, when I had that, I call it the we experience, when I had it on February 5th, 1995, the after effects of it, like being telepathic so that I heard other people's thoughts and so forth and so on, that lasted for 2 weeks. It does not last forever. For myself, I deliberately asked for it to go away because I was not prepared for it, and it was causing a great deal of social problems for me. Just think if all of a sudden, every time you looked in another person's eyes, anybody, the mailman, your neighbor, anybody, and you heard their thoughts and they also knew that you were hearing their thoughts. Okay, that's what happened. The walls came down. Telepathy does not go in one direction. It is oneness. Two minds hearing each other, thinking, having that awareness together at the same moment. Other people are extremely offended by that intrusion into their privacy, and it terrifies them. I shut myself in the house for 2 weeks, okay? And then I said, I had a talk with multiple consciousness, and I said, I want this to go away. I need for this to stop. And it did. I'm going to continue reading now. Whenever we move into multiple identity, we actually move not into double identity, but triple. Each of these 3 identities exists separately and simultaneously in full awareness of the others. You will hear each of them thinking simultaneously, and you will be able to keep them separated and understand each one at the same time. You see, your mental ability grows. It actually grows so that you can hear all kinds of different voices at the same time, keep them separated, and understand each one at the same time. That happened to me during the shift of perception on February 5th, 1995. You will hear each of them thinking simultaneously, and you will be able to keep them separated and understand each one at the same time. Your mental ability has expanded here, has it not? At the same time, you will find yourself telepathic with other people. An entity this intelligent is not headed for doom. He is headed for a wake-up call. We call that wake-up experience the shift of perception. The shift of perception can be stimulated through a conceptual process or a mental thought process. In other words, through contemplating ideas that are congruent with the shift of perception reality. And my first 4 years with the Galaxy Teacher, it was all conversation with the Galaxy Teacher in which he taught me those ideas, and we discussed ideas. For the first 4 years, we had conversation. After that, then I had the shift of perception, and after that, a little while after that, I started. He started dictating entire manuscripts to me, and I was channeling entire manuscripts, and I wrote them all down, and they are all published. The Galaxy Teacher books. Okay. The shift of perception can be stimulated through a conceptual process, through ideas, okay, or a mental thought process. Change your assumptions about reality. Contemplate the ideas in this book. And this book, we mean the book I'm reading to you right now. Examine them and play the believing game with them. Try them on as if you believe them and see what happens. Okay, I've got 16 minutes left in this broadcast. This is a live broadcast today. Usually I record my broadcasts previous and play them as podcasts, but this one is live today. Okay, the next chapter is Human Suffering, Unnecessary and Unacceptable. And the next one is Psychic Experience is for everyone, not for just the few. And that says that All human beings are psychic. You are. You, the individual listening to this broadcast, do not doubt it. Do not doubt it. Psychic ability is your very nature. All you have to do is attempt it. All you have to do is, go toward it, start listening, start thinking about it, start reading about it, start practicing it. And the easiest way is to start writing down your dreams. Your life will change. The next chapter is dream, death, channeling, and out-of-body experience. The next chapter is doing reality. And the last chapter is channel a galaxy teacher. Now, I think that most of you might be very interested in that last chapter about how to channel a galaxy teacher. And I'm going to read that chapter right now. Chapter 10, Channel a Galaxy Teacher. How is man a god? He is a god through multiple consciousness, where he is aware that he has a multiple voice. How does he become aware of that? He hears it. He does not hear himself thinking, I think this or that, but we think this or that. In the we voice, all things become one, and everyone is truly equal because all things are known. You see, in telepathy, you can't hide your thoughts from other people. They can't hide them from you. Lies are impossible. Okay. Man is a god through telepathy, the universal language of intelligent consciousness. Man is a god through multiple consciousness, where he has the qualities of God: omniscience, omnipresence, omnipotence. Omniscience means to know everything. Omnipresence means to be able to be everywhere at once. Omnipotence, all-powerful. In the shift of perception experience, one will experience all these things, if only briefly. That is hard to picture, isn't it? No one can be expected to believe it who has not experienced it. Psychic reality is the level playing field for all intelligent beings. 15 minutes of the shift of perception experience is enough to change one's life and last a lifetime. The Galaxy Teacher wants to convince man he is a god, a magnificently sensitive creature, so intelligent he is psychic. Gods have great responsibilities. The Galaxy Teacher wants man to accept full responsibility for his experience, to become the center of the universe. He wants man to find out he is good, to stop being afraid, to stop hurting the other. GT, short for Galaxy Teacher, wants man to break out of samsara. Samsara is the Sanskrit word for the reincarnation cycle. Okay, GT wants man to break out of samsara, the reincarnation cycle. He wants people to develop psychic abilities. Most of all, he wants people to be happy. The Galaxy Teacher is the honors college tutor of the psychic world. Can you channel your own Galaxy Teacher? You certainly can. Get alone and talk out loud. Invite a spirit guide or channeled voice to talk to you. Ask for exactly what you want, a voice that will be a teacher of psychic reality. Then listen for an answer. Repeat this for several days. The reason you need to repeat it is not because your teacher will be slow to answer, but because you may be slow to hear the voice. It will be very subtle. When you notice a silent thought in your mind that is not your thought, you have heard it. With more practice talking to this voice, you will recognize it easily. That we voice has been with you all your life. You will discover it is creative, real, and independently motivated from you. It is benevolent and wise. It is a teacher beyond other teachers. Your teacher is talking to you. Answer. That is the end of chapter 10. I'm going to now, we have 10 minutes left, I'm going to read chapter 9, which is called Doing Reality. And doing, the word doing here is an adjective, okay? Doing reality is experiential reality. It is necessary to do it in order to understand it. It is where you are taking part in creating reality. Psychic reality is doing reality. In psychic experience, you are doing something you have done before, but this time you remain aware of it. It is simply awareness, but that simple thing will in fact change you and the world for the better. Do it. All the Galaxy Teacher ideas are ideas about doing reality. Idea reality. Alter your perception and you alter your experience. What have you to lose but your fear? Be unafraid. Assume the world is basically constructed of useful things, which it is. Assume you are intelligent. Assume you have a right to be here. Assume the universe is benevolent. The psychic world, an aware, creative, and powerful place, is a safe place if you participate and accept responsibility for your own belief system. I'm not reading now, I'm talking. Do not go into the psychic world with a negative, fearful belief system. If your belief system is fear-based, refrain from psychic development until you can change that idea, change that assumption about reality, okay? Work on that and do it first. Okay, I'm reading again. Talk to the inner voice. Cultivate it. Trust it. Reality is bigger than you think it is. Don't you want to find out? Do not scoff at those who dream of good and big things. You are a grand entity. If you have one purpose, do that purpose. But you can do many. That is our message. And when they say that is our message, they mean that's the voice of multiple consciousness talking. That is their message. Okay, we have 7 minutes left. I guess we're reading backward. Let's read chapter 8. Dreams, death, channeling, and out-of-body experience. Dreams are real, not symbolic. Analyzing dreams as symbolism is not appropriate. One should see dreams as part of a real experience and participate in them. Don't analyze your dreams. Participate in them. Dreams are happening in the simultaneous time frame. Dreams are the easiest and most accessible portal to the part of consciousness where your daily experience is created. The way to utilize dreams is to write down your dreams every morning so you do not forget them. Reread your dream records regularly. You will see the patterns of your life in them. Your dreams are talking to you, or rather, consciousness is talking to you through your dreams. Listen, interact, and participate in your dreams. Interlace your dream understanding with your waking understanding. If you do this, your problems will solve themselves. You will also begin to have psychic experience. You will be growing into the universal conscious being you are meant to be. Psychic development is right in front of you, but it does take some effort. Death is an out-of-body experience. Your consciousness will survive death. The realm of death is surely in the simultaneous time frame. You can investigate the experience of death now or later, when you die, in other words. But you can study death, you can seek to understand death And especially I would suggest when you're talking to a spiritual guide or your galaxy teacher, you can ask questions about death. You can study near-death experiences. You can study about death now. Or, as the galaxy teacher suggests here, you can just wait till you die and then you'll know, won't you? Okay? It's up to you. Channeling is a creative act of which your consciousness is capable. It is real and highly useful if you need a psychic coach or personal guide. Prayer and conversing with God may be considered channeling. Every channeled voice is different. You call the channeled voice into existence, yet it is independent of you with its own consciousness and free will. I'm going to repeat that last sentence. You call the channeled voice into existence, okay? You do call it into existence, yet it is independent of you with its own consciousness and free will. The fact that you call the channeled voice into existence does not mean it is not real. It is real. If you believe in the independent existence of evil, you may meet evil when you venture into psychic experience. Therefore, change your belief system. There is no such thing as the independent existence of evil. There are no evil spirits hanging around hoping to engage you, but you can create some with your beliefs. If you believe in such things, avoid psychic development and psychic work. You are not ready for it. Your concept of reality is too immature. Okay. I've got 3 minutes left, and I'm going to stop there. I think that between this broadcast today and the one last week, you have a very good idea of all the basic Galaxy Teacher ideas. Next week, I will be broadcasting on a different channel voice, and we'll see what we can learn from that. Okay, God bless you, and let's all pray together for a good future for our country and the world. And let's pray for every minority person in America who is afraid today. I'll see you next week. Bye.